Thanks for joining us today. We're standing by right now to hear from the Minneapolis Police Chief, Justine Damond. This will be the first time that she has spoken publicly about Saturday's deadly officer-involved shooting.
Her public comments were scheduled to begin at 5 o'clock, so any minute now we are expecting her to take the podium. We'll bring that to you live, of course. But we do want to back up here and tell you all that's happened this week. 5 days ago, Officer Muhammad Noor shot and killed Justine Damond minutes after she called 911 to report a possible sexual assault behind her home in southwest Minneapolis. The other responding officer told BCA investigators he was startled by a loud sound when they got to the alley, and that is when Noor fired his gun.
We're not sure about the timing. Hopefully the chief is scheduled to speak at 5. We want to take it live since it's been important. She's been away on a pre-planned vacation and has just come back. She said she was in contact with the department. We don't know if she's going to be several minutes before getting up there, if she's going to jump in right away. If that's the case, we'll just keep moving forward with our news. But of course, this has been an international story, and with worldwide attention, people are very interested in hearing her comments soon.
We do know that Chief Harto released a statement earlier in the week calling the shooting clearly a tragic death, and she did ask for an external and independent investigation. Just to recap, though, some of the details from that shooting that happened just before midnight on Saturday night, again in southwest Minneapolis. According to the BCA, 2 Minneapolis police officers, they were responding to a 911 call of a possible assault just north of the 5100 block of Washburn Avenue South. And at one point, an officer, we have now learned, is Officer Muhammad Noor. He's been on the police department for 2 years. He fired his weapon, fatally striking Damond in the stomach area. We later learned that Officer Noor fired his gun through an open squad car window across his partner, Michael Harity. We do know that Harity gave a statement, Frank, to the BCA. Officer Noor so far has declined to do so.
Those are the facts of what's happened. The biggest really questions of moving forward. Why did the police not have their body cameras on? Why was the dash camera not on? Bill Hudson knows a lot of people that have been demanding these questions for a long time. I mean, Bill, we're at the point where you have the Prime Minister of Australia asking these questions.
Everybody, this is a worldwide story. There's no question about it because Damond was from Australia. A lot of interest out there, but certainly no surprise of the huge demand for answers in this case, both locally here in the Twin Cities and in Damond's native Australia. The first public words of Chief Harto, which we're standing by to hear 5 days later now, however heartfelt they might be, will likely bring little comfort to those wrestling with their grief. As friends of Justine Damond's gathered in her native Australia to reflect on her life and process their grief, her family issued a written statement saying in part, quote, "We are still trying to come to terms with this tragedy, struggling to understand how and why this could happen." Damond was shot late Saturday night by Minneapolis police officer Muhammad Noor, just moments after she walked up to the squad that she'd requested after reporting a possible sexual assault outside her South Minneapolis home.
It's still a shock. It's been, 4 or 5 days, and I still wake up in the morning. And if you could pick one person that would be the exact opposite of anything to do with violence and guns and death, anything, it would be Justine. And
Tom and Carol Hyder are Damond's close friends.
She would help. If she could help, she would be there in pajamas. It wouldn't matter. So I don't think she even thought twice about it because she perceived somebody was in danger.
5 days after the shooting, Damond's friends are still struggling to understand why.
I know she was puzzled about some things. You know, the culture of guns in this country was very perplexing, and she couldn't understand that because it's so different from where she came from.
Now, Officer Noor's attorney, Tom Plunkett, also gave a statement just a little bit ago, came into the newsroom, still saying that Noor has no plans to talk with BCA investigators. However, he could be forced to if there's what's called a garrity. That's where an employee can be ordered to give a statement. Plunkett also wants a coroner's report with an outside laboratory saying that toxicology would be nice to know if there was Ambien in her system. On that, he did not elaborate why he's asking for that, but obviously you can kind of see where his defense may be going.
And obviously still a developing story at this point.
It certainly is.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Sure.
And we did just hear that the police chief plans to make her first public comments coming up in about 10 minutes now. Originally that had been scheduled to begin at 5 o'clock. We'll, of course, bring that to you live, so stay tuned here on WCCO.